What's happening, people? Welcome to this week's edition of the Flex and Rants show. We finally got a game to talk about, Rants. We've played, it feels like we've done so many Flex and Rants shows throughout this time, just talking about obviously the hottest topics, what people want to hear, what people want to talk about, hypothetical situations, transfers. But it's nice to get our teeth into some football, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it was all right, man. It's good to have football back. That's for sure, you know.
100%.
The not having a crowd there, to be honest, I think that it's probably affected the players more than it's affected us, man. Even though the crowd noise isn't the best, it's way better than not having any. Boy, it was horrible when I watched it without it.
I was toggling through, and we're going to talk about Spurs a little bit later in the show, but we're going to go straight in with David De Gea and this Dean Henderson situation. I don't want to say versus Dean Henderson. We have to remember that they're both our players. So we're actually in a very good position to be in, to be able to have this problem or issue. You may not see it as a problem. Loads of people I've seen on social media sort of saying maybe it's time to move De Gea on. Equally, there's a lot of people saying no. I think with this blown out of proportion. He's in bad form, but he's still one of the best keepers in the world. We'll be fine for the immediate future. And then some people are a little bit somewhere in between. Ollie's come out at his press conference and earlier today and said that he still believes he's the best goalkeeper in the world. If you look at the goals that we've actually conceded, we've only conceded like 3 goals in the last 13 games. Then he went on to kind of just defend his player, which, you know, I tweeted out. I think, you know, you should defend your players. You don't want to throw them under the bus like a certain Jose used to do and stuff like that. But I'll let you have your say on it, Rants, before I have mine. I mean, where do you sit on the De Gea Henderson situation and De Gea in general?
I think that Ollie did what any decent manager is supposed to do, and that's defend his players and talk his players up. You know what I mean? But if we're being honest, De Gea is very much past his best, and he's been showing us that he's past his best for a couple of years now. I was one of the only people I know that was vocally saying, don't give him the new contract, 300 grand a week that he was holding out for. I was adamant that he's not worth that money. And at the time, I was getting pelters and that. But
it's not like you to get pelters, though, is it?
Nah. It doesn't happen often. But literally, he signed a new deal and he's shown that he's not worth the money that we're paying him. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, making a mistake every other game as a goalkeeper is not good enough. What is it this season? It's 13 errors leading to goals or something like that.
I think it's the last time I checked, he was highest, and it was 7 direct. But him and Leno were up there.
I think him and Leno had 12 or something. I don't know where I'm getting the number 12 from. I feel like it was like 12 or something.
I don't know if it's that high, but he was at the top of it.
If it's 8, then let's say for argument's sake, it's 8. So you're saying every third game he's throwing the ball in his net because it's 9 now. Do you know what I mean? 9 in 27. So every 3 games, every third game, he's costing us a goal. Bruv, that's not top goalkeeper no more, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because how have you got goalkeepers that are probably facing more shots on goal in a game, with more clean sheets than you? Like, it's a worry, man. Like, man can't say that De Gea is a top goalkeeper, a world-class goalkeeper anymore. He's still a very good goalkeeper because the level he was at before, even though he's declined, he's still better than the average goalkeeper. Just knowing that De Gea is capable of throwing up 9 out of 10 performances aren't good enough. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not good enough knowing that he's capable of making these saves. If you're not doing your bread and butter, do you know what I mean? Because it's not like the saves that he's not making are like, you could say, you know what, a normal goalkeeper, it's not a problem. But for De Gea, you expect him to make those. You expect your flipping bottom of the league goalkeepers to make the saves that De Gea is not making. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'd definitely put Henderson in the sticks because I don't believe that Henderson can do worse than him, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd rather pick a goalkeeper that's going to give me 7.5 out of 10 every game than a goalkeeper that can give me 9s but is giving me 6s a lot of the time, bro. Like, most of his performances are not of the standard that we expect of a David De Gea, bro. I look at his age and also how much money he's on, and I feel like we're affording him so much more of that nonsense. If he was in any other position on the pitch, I think people would be onto him, bro.
Okay. I think it's important to look at both sides as well. But I do agree with a lot of what you're saying in terms of he's definitely not the best David De Gea that we've seen at Manchester United. He set his own bar because he's been that good. People were alluding me to the fact that oh, this is a player that he's been our player of the season the past 4 out of 5 times. And for me, I'm like, that's a worry. I don't, I know other, Real Madrid and Barcelona had Ronaldo and Messi and stuff like that, but I don't see top teams across Europe with their keeper as the player of the year multiple times. I think that says more about your lack of forward players or your midfielders if you're having a goalkeeper having taken that mantle. However, do we respect David De Gea? Has David De Gea been one of the best Premier League keepers of the last decade? Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you're right. We're spot on when you said he's still a top keeper. He's just not the best anymore. If you want to bring other people into the conversation, Gary Neville said that he believes De Gea needs to go back to basics. And you know what it is? I think that's a fair point. It's like the things he's actually doing wrong, Rants. Like when I think back to the Everton game this year, criminal. It was Ollie's doing what he should do, which is defend his player. But he even questioned. He said maybe the one at Everton. Yeah, he even said maybe, when we all know obviously it was a massive mistake. And then the one at Watford, I remember we come out half time. It's 0-0. We're looking to kind of get into the ascendancy, put some pressure on Watford, and he makes a huge mistake, and Watford deservedly go on and win the game because they played better than us in that period, and we made 2 big mistakes, and then Bissaka made a mistake as well. But I think because he's been so good, we've got the bar up here for him, and it should rightly be up there. And I think when he's making the mistakes he's making, they're not, like I said, it's like what Gary Neville said, just get back to basics. Now, I think the thing is like working out, can he return to his best form? We know about form is, temporary, class is permanent. Maybe De Gea can show within the next 9 games. Maybe might go to the end of the season, might not make another mistake, might be a bit more solid. Hopefully we do see that, because we want us to not be chucking away easy goals. But it's not something that's only just happened this season. This has been happening. He hasn't been showing his best form for at least 18 months, I would say, arguably longer. And I think for me, that's the issue. And when you've got someone as good as Dean Henderson, I just worry that maybe with De Gea, he hasn't been pushed. He knows Romero's not going to displace him in the Premier League. He knows Romero's going to play the Europa League and an odd League Cup here and there. But he knows he is the main guy. And I just wonder, and it might be at the hindrance of Dean Henderson, which is where we've got to get the balance in that right. But if he does bring in Dean Henderson next year as the number 2 and say, right, David, I'll tell you what, sits him down, first mistake, Dean's getting a run. And just puts that pressure up his arse, just to let David think, tell you what, Ollie's already said that Dean Henderson's future England number 1. He's already said that Dean Henderson will be future Man United number 1 at some stage. I need to make sure that it's not now. Almost like, you see when Brandon Williams came in and Luke Shaw just upped his ting. I just wonder if maybe Ollie could do that next year. Yeah,
he could. But again, I don't see the point in having a goalkeeper that's played a whole season as number 1 in the Prem, proven. He's proved it,
he's proved
it. To then come and sit him on the bench, brother. I think it's disrespectful to what Henderson's done in the Premier League, bro. He's young, he's English, yeah. It's just got Manchester United written all over it. Give the kid a chance, innit? As far as I'm concerned, we've given De Gea more than enough. Like, it's been nearly 2 years. It's not form anymore. How long do you have to be shit for before people say, all right, it's not form, you're just shit now? Like, how long? Like, I'd love,
or people say that you're just not as good as you were. I suppose you're just crap.
Yeah, but when I say shit, I mean shit for him, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like I said, right? Like, but by no fucking stretch of the imagination did Bruno have a great game against Spurs, bro. By his standards, it was a 7 at best, bro. But that's because Bruno is up here. Do you know what I mean? De Gea was up here, bro. I'm seeing all of these things. As you said, all the mistakes that he's made. Normal goalkeepers save those. So when people say to me, for instance, oh, do you think that Henderson's better than De Gea? He's not better than him, but he's not worse. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the saves that De Gea didn't make, Henderson makes all of those. The Tottenham one was bad, bro. It was straight at him, literally. And he punched it into his own net. Like, what was he doing? You see what I mean? So you don't need to be a top keeper to make the saves that De Gea is not making. So you don't need to replace De Gea with an Oblak here. You could just replace him with probably any goalkeeper in the top 10 of the Premier League, yeah, and they're doing a better job than him right now. Like, that's just.
But are they only doing a better job than him right now because, like we're saying, he's just in bad form and needs to get his best form back?
It's been 2 years, bruv. It's been 2 years. 2 years ain't bad form. You see what I mean? Like, bad form is cool. You go like 6
months
to 8 games or something. Do you know what I mean? When a striker's on a bad run of form, and he hasn't scored in 10 games, they say, oh, he's on a drought and that. If a striker didn't score for 18 months, bro, or he was scoring 1 in 5.
There's problems.
If he was scoring 1 in 5 for 2 years, it ain't form no more, bro. You're just not good no more. Do you see what I'm saying? We need to stop thinking about what De Gea used to do. What he's showing us now is that either he's not good enough no more, or he's so complacent at the moment because he's been unchallenged for so long at the club.
I think
that his attitude's all wrong. And again, I've always questioned his attitude, bro. Like with Luke Shaw, it shouldn't take for Brandon Williams to be pushing Luke Shaw for him to put in good performances. If you're a top player, yeah, you're meant to have the mentality that you're supposed to train hard and be at the top level all the time, innit? I believe that De Gea's got too comfortable, too complacent with not being pushed, and he genuinely believes that he's better than he is now, bro.
Just to bring in, some more context to it. These are Gary Neville's comments. Gary Neville believes David De Gea's drop in form is more serious than just a blip and has urged the goalkeeper to get back to basics. He goes on to say that he hasn't been the same for some time. When form drops for 6 months, it's a blip, but when it goes on for a year, you start to worry. When it goes over 2 years, it becomes more permanent. This is now a fair representation of what De Gea is as he's making lots of mistakes, ones he would never make. He was always somebody you could completely rely upon. It can only be a confidence thing. The arms and legs and body are the same. It's got to be in the mind, which is what you're talking about mentality. And that's why I thought, we're not in training every day. We know what sacrifices footballers have to make to be able to be a top level footballer. And we know a lot of professional footballers, and, it can be tough at times. It's hard to, you talk about the elite level players. It's that consistency that really makes them elite. You can have a couple good games, a couple good seasons. Can you have year on year on year? And I think because David De Gea has done that, and all of a sudden that's gone from his game the last 18 months to 2 years, it's like, can he challenge himself there? Like, Gary Neville goes on to say, it might mean that you're back in, you're going in 7:30 in the morning, you ain't leaving till 6 p.m. now. You've got to get that hunger back again. You've got to get that mentality back again. Maybe De Gea needs to do a little bit of soul searching. However, does he still make great saves? He's always still going to make great saves. He's still a very good keeper. I just think by what you're saying,
yeah, but again, that doesn't mean anything, because, like, for instance, we brought a 35-year-old Zlatan to Man United, yeah? He's still going to score great goals. He's still going to score these acrobatic goals, but he ain't a shadow of the player that he was, like, 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So just because he can still do the overhead kicks, that doesn't mean, yeah, that he's still good, bruv. Like,
so how much of the decline? Much of the decline we're willing to accept?
But that's what I mean. Like, I'm looking at Zlatan, and I'm not expecting him to do what he did 5 years ago, because I know simply he's not the same kind of player. He's not as mobile anymore. Yeah, he'll still score like some good goals, and he'll show flashes of brilliance because class is permanent. But ultimately, he weren't as good.
But as a keeper, you know how they're pretty much like a fine wine, innit? Or a fine bit of alcohol, whatever. The longer they go, they mature with age and they get better with age. Keepers, and the thing is, it's like he seems to have the evidence suggests so far that he's had an unsteady first couple of years. We all know about that. Then his rise was just superb, brilliant. Got the accolade as the best keeper in the world solidly for a good 2 years, I would say, minimum. And then slowly, you'd say plateaued, and now is just starting to dip. It's whether or not he's up to the challenge. And I think if he doesn't prove it anytime soon, there's a fair case for Dean Henderson. I agree with what you're saying in terms of it's actually a bit of a disservice to Dean Henderson, because actually, if he wants to get into that World Cup squad next year, he needs to be playing if he wants to knock on Gareth Southgate's door and say, give me a chance over Pickford. Because Pickford's another one who makes a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. So, between him and Nick Pope at Burnley...
Pickford's not better than Henderson, but Henderson needs to be playing, innit? And even the thing with De Gea, that's why I've said a million times, I question his attitude, because he hasn't had no long-term injuries to say, oh, you know what, maybe it's his body and that. Yeah, it has to be his mind. It has to be his mind.
The motivation, the hunger.
You don't look hungry to me no more.
I hear that. To finish off on De Gea, obviously you guys drop your views in the comments in the boxes below. It was all about opinions, and I just feel like, to wrap up what I think David De Gea may need just a kick up the arse. I don't know if he can get back to where he was. I accept that. I still think he can play for us. I don't think just get rid. I don't think it's easy that. But I do, like Rants, think maybe he needs that bit of urgency up his backside again, and maybe Dean Henderson could give him that. At the same time, it is a bit of a disservice to Dean Henderson because he deserves to be playing. I don't know. I don't have the right answer, to be honest. Rants, to finish off on that, what's your final verdict?
Yeah, I would see how it goes to the end of the season. If it was me, to be honest, I'd probably play Romero to the end of the season. Like, because that against Tottenham is unacceptable. And he's done it too many times, bro. And I'd like to see Romero get a run of games, bro. You know what I mean?
People were saying that last season as well when De Gea was really bad.
Well, there you go. And we're back there again. So it can't be form,
season,
bro. It can't be form. Like, I would literally get rid of him. Like, if I could get 40, 50 million for David De Gea now to get that 300 grand a week off the wage bill, I'd get rid and bring Henderson back. Okay,
cool. On to the next topic of today. Earlier on, breaking news that Scott McTominay has signed a long-term deal at the club. I don't see many people too surprised. Angel Gomez, they're talking about now, is potentially the next one. What's your feelings on that?
Yeah, he deserves it, really, isn't it? Like, it's just one of them things. I think he's going to be a good squad player for the club moving forward. I think it was a common sense signing, isn't it? Like, Scott McTominay ain't going to go nowhere. He'll probably be at the club probably until his 30s and then end up going somewhere mid-table or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Once his prime years are done at the club. But I see him at the club at least until he's like 28, 29. So that don't surprise me.
Yeah, I think look, he's done really well. Faced a lot of criticism when he first came into the fray, especially into the type of team he was coming into and how Jose was playing him. And I accept that. At the time, I remember I wasn't hating on him. I was just like, I'm not really sure what the kid brings. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but like you said, always on new evidence. When Ollie came in, I think he really took McTominay under his wing, really championed him, must have sat him down and said, listen, I believe in the youth. I believe there's a place for you in my squad. And like you said there, I think the key thing, what you said there, is that he's earned it. I think he's earned it. And I think you look at the Pereira situation when he got his new deal, you were kind of raising your eyebrows to say, all right, I see why Ollie wants to maybe see what happens, but has he really earned it? I think with McTominay, I think he's been integral at parts of this season. Tailed off at other times, come back off injury. He's still young, he's still learning, but I think he deserved it. What sort of role do you see McTominay having if we're to get targets going forward? How integral do you think McTominay will be? Do you think he should be one of the first names on the team sheets with the right players around him? Or do you see him as, like how Darren Fletcher was, being a very influential squad player?
Yeah, I think he'll be that. You'll be an influential squad player like your Darren Fletchers, like your Phil Neville's in there, like, do you know what I mean? Just come in and do a job. Like, I think last game, like, he ended up dropping into centre half or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just one of them. Yeah, he's just one of them players, isn't it? Like, he'll be a squad player. I don't see Scott McTominay starting for us if we're serious about winning anything. But against the smaller teams, I could see why you might bring McTominay's legs in instead of a Matic or something like that to give you a bit more physicality. I think we know what he is now, innit? When he first came in, nobody knew what he was. Everyone was like, cool, Jose wanted to bring him into play as a 6. He's not 6, he can't pass. And then he was playing centre half. And then we were just like, what is he good at? Do you know what I mean? At least we know what he's good at now.
Yeah, I know he's brought that out of him. Yeah,
he's just good at breaking up play, bro. Like, that's what he is. He's a physical player. He gets stuck in. He's a big lad. He's about 6'2", 6'3" as well. Like, he just gets stuck in. Like, you know what you're going to get from Scott.
And you do need that. You do need that. I want to give him a bit of credit as well, though, for his he's scored a good few goals here and there as well. Some decent strikes. He can shoot. He's got an eye for goal, and I think that again sums him up as not a holding midfielder. Very energetic, very combative. Always wants to win the ball. Aggressive, chomping at the bit. Will run after someone, pester them, hack them down. Almost like a bit of grip, but he's a decent touch on him. He can control the ball. He can move with both feet and stuff like that. Isn't an exquisite passer. I hear what you're saying there. But he does like to get forward, that little third man run. I always liken it to Lampard a bit. You look at the goal against Arsenal. You look at the goal against Norwich this season. Can put it about on set pieces. The goal he scored against Brighton, which was a bit messy. But again, he scored. He's in there. I think he's just a culmination of a box-to-box midfielder. And that's why we had our worries about him being a holding midfielder in this current team because of the likes of Bruno and Pogba, which is a whole nother debate about the balance of the squad. But definitely, I think going forward, if we're going to keep Pogba for another season, which I think that looks likely, obviously Bruno's going to be here for the foreseeable. I think Scott comes in and out of that alongside a Matic, alongside a Fred. alongside another defensive midfielder once Matic leaves, and we up the ante and get someone, better as a specialist DM. I think there's a place for him in the squad, 100%. Some people I saw were saying, excellent signing, future Man United captain on our hands. Could you see that?
No way. I don't think he'll ever be a starter to be a Manchester United captain. If Scott McTominay's starting for us, we're not going in the right direction, innit? Let's not get carried away. You know what I mean? He's a good kid. He's got good attitude. You could tell he works hard and all that, but there's levels to football, innit? I don't care how much you like him, yeah? If he's starting in the Manchester United 3, week in, week out, we're seriously missing a trick here. Do you know
what if he's starting with the better players though? Well, for example, he's proved in big games this season he can play at a good level. He had a great game against PSG, and I know it's isolated moments. He's obviously played against Barcelona at a young age, and I know we lost the game, but he's played Champions League. He's played against the best teams in the Premier League, and we've got good results with him in it. If he is with a Bruno and a Pogba, or if Pogba leaves one time and we get another amazing player, is there a case that McTominay could be the third man out of an amazing 3?
No, he's just not good enough. You know what I mean? And that's not his fault. He's just not good enough. There's levels to football, bro. Like, we even saw it in the last game against Tottenham, bro. He's one of the worst players on the pitch. I know people almost say, oh, yeah, like, it's the first game back. But I remember even before he got injured, was it at Chelsea that he got injured? I think it was, because we were there at the game, Chelsea away.
I can't remember.
In the cup, and he was having a stinker, bro.
He started that game.
And he was terrible, bro. Like, it's one of them ones where people forget it. Like, but before that injury, he wasn't playing well anyway. Like let's not beat around the bush here. Like, he's a good player to bring in and out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he can give you good things. He shoots well. You can tell he's more of an number 8. He sees himself as a more attacking player, but he's not good enough to play there for Manchester United, so he's had to adapt his game, which is fair enough. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the academy players have to do that. To get into first team football, you have to adapt your game.
100%. He's done that, yeah.
Because in the first team, maybe where you want to play, there's better players ahead of you. Do you see what I mean? So I have no issue with Scott McTominay. But if we're being 100% honest, he's not good enough to be starting for Manchester United week in, week out with the kind of players we should be looking at. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever think he's going to be on the level of a Marcus Rashford, or a Martial, or a Sancho if we get him, or a Pogba? Nah, bruv. Like, there's levels to football, in it. Scott McTominay is a good player to have at the club, have in the changing room, and have in the squad. But if he's starting week in, week out, yeah, then our ambitions aren't what they should be, man. So that he deserves the new contract. He's a good squad player to have, but let's not get carried away.
Fair enough. I echo a lot of that in terms of he definitely deserves it. And you know what? I think his squad role is going to be rotation, because Pogba's clearly, you'd like to think, going to be starting games. We'll talk about the games coming up and where we are. Bruno's obviously going to be starting. So there's always going to be one space left between Matic, Fred and McTominay. Because I can't see Pogba not starting too many more games for the 8 games we've got left personally, unless something real bad happens. So I think even for the rest of the season, Ollie's got a decision to make about rotation, and he will be rotation. Moving on, Rants. I mean, look, we got a draw against Spurs. 5 points behind Chelsea now, and 8 games left. We've got to go on a run. We have to go on a run, and potentially we need to win 7 in a row. Really, a lot of people are saying to have a real chance, because Chelsea got some difficult games. Wolves got some difficult games. Actually, no, Wolves don't have as difficult as you might think. So they're going to probably kick on. We can't afford to drop, really. Personally, I don't think we can afford to drop any points until we play Leicester last game of the season. I think we need to win all of them. We haven't done that 7 on the bounce, win 7 on the bounce, since Ollie's been permanent manager. Can we do that with the fixtures that we have left? Which, while you're answering it, I'll bring up the fixtures. But are you worried that actually that draw might have been more detrimental than we think, or we can do it as long as we don't drop any more points?
I do think the draw was more detrimental than a lot of people think. That's why I was angry, bro. Because I looked at that Tottenham team and I thought, these men are there for the taking. You know what I mean? And, they proper were. When you look at that team, I was fuming. You know what I mean? And I think the only reason why we didn't beat them was down to team selection. I honestly do. You know what I mean? We don't need to get into the lack of coaching or the lack of patterns or anything like that, because United showed us exactly what we know they are. They're inconsistent, innit? Regardless of who's playing, United are inconsistent. And we need consistency to get top 4 now. So we're relying on the team to show us something that they haven't shown us. So I don't know, innit? Like, I think that these are very winnable games, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to go out there and see United throw up an absolute horror show in one of these games.
Well, you're looking at the fixtures coming up. Obviously, we got Sheffield United on Wednesday, Norwich in the Cup, but then I'm just doing Premier League away to Brighton. Obviously, Arsenal are banter, but you know, we're nowhere near as bad as them. But you know, Brighton can play. They're hungry. They probably saved themselves with that win. So maybe they might take the foot.
But the way we're defending, boy, Mope's gonna have a field day. With
you don't know exactly.
Maguire and Lindelof, I tell you.
Bournemouth home. We should be beating them. They've got some big injuries, and you know, Aston Villa away. They were poor against Chelsea for large parts, but managed to get themselves in front, and Chelsea just upped the ante. You know, it's difficult. Yeah. Southampton at home. Fair enough. Southampton not much to play for, but confident. Crystal Palace, you always say, is a tricky one away. West Ham after that, fighting for their lives, and then it's Leicester. So on paper, which is not where football games are won, you're looking at it thinking, all right, cool. We should be going. We should be beating Southampton at home. You'd expect us to beat Bournemouth at home. Brighton away at this stage of the season, you'd expect to win, but you just don't know. And I think the key is that actually that pressure now of actually we can't afford to drop any more points. I don't think. And it's whether or not we can do that. I mean, going into the Sheffield United game, what sort of team would you like to see put up?
Well, I just think we have to go with our best team. And our best team has Greenwood on the right and Pogba in the midfield, bro. If we started with that team against Tottenham, we beat them probably 3-0. No one's talking about anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when you look at the Tottenham goal and the way Bergwijn's just run straight through our defense, I'm scratching my head, bruv. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, this is a problem here. This is a problem here. A lot of people will put it down to, oh, yes, rust and all that. But I don't think so, bro. I think that we just haven't seen football for so long, man, are forgetting how crap some of these men are, bro. And how bad we've been playing, bro. You know what I mean? Everyone's talking about, oh, yeah, the 12 unbeaten and all of this. Bro, that don't mean nothing, bro. How many of those back-to-back have we actually won, though? Do you know what I mean? I don't like this unbeaten thing, bro. Like, it's not... You're better off losing a game, and winning one than drawing 3 games. Do you see what I'm saying? So the unbeaten thing is a smoke screen. Like, we've not consistently put a run of games together, period.
For a long time.
Long time, especially under this manager, bro. That what was it? Look how long it took us to get 3 wins on the bounce. Just 3 wins, bro. We're Manchester United.
Yeah, so we haven't put a run together for ages. The inconsistency has been so prevalent throughout the whole season. We haven't done it since he was interim. When he was interim, it was amazing. I think, what was it, 11 games or something like that? 12 games? Can't even remember now. But it was brilliant, and it all come crashing down. We had let's face it, we had an awful start to this season.
Then, so when people are looking at these winnable fixtures, how many of these winnable fixtures so far this year have we not won, or this season? Loads of them. Do you know what I mean?
With Bruno and Pogba now, Rashford back and Martial, does that change your... You know, when you said, like, you expect us to do better, though, because we've got better players now. Taking that into consideration, let's talk a bit more about that. If Ollie does play Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, do you look at that and go, let's forget tactics and stuff? That should be enough to go and win those games.
It should be. But again,
the big should.
Rashford looks knackered, innit? Like I said it before, he looks.
He's got to get going again. He
has to get going again, bro. Like he hasn't played in a long time. He looks knackered, bro. Like some of the stuff he was doing in that last game, he looked like he literally the red light was flashing and he was just out there just.
He's not a player as well. Sorry, on Marcus, he's not a player who like plays within himself. He kind of plays 100% all the time, and to be able to do that. You do actually need to be 100%
You need to be fit, bro.
Yeah, which he ain't going to have right now.
Exactly. So he never looked fit at all. Do you know? Bruno looked mad lethargic. Do you know what I'm saying? He was misplacing passes, and you don't see that from Bruno. Do you know what I mean? Trying to ping stuff across the pitch and it going out for throw-ins and that. That's not like Bruno, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro, because a lot of these lower teams are looking sharper. They're looking hungrier. Do you know what I mean? The reason why they like Brighton did what they did to Arsenal, because they just look sharper than them.
And Arsenal shit.
Yeah, of course. But they look sharper and they look hungrier. Do you know what I mean? We could come up against a team that are fighting for their lives that come out the traps quickly, and before you know it, you're 2-0 down, and everyone's looking at each other like, yo, what's going on,
that's
bro?
a big one. And even going 1-0 down, I think that was a little bit like that against Spurs. We were fairly comfortable. I think on the break, they were showing little signs. Eric Lamela, I kept seeing he's becoming a bit of a problem. He's picking up good positions. He's just making bad decisions, but he was picking up good positions. And then slowly but surely, he started coming into the game but more, and then they got that goal. But I think with Sheffield United now, though, as well, which is an interesting point, I was kind of a bit worried about them. Mark wasn't, because he said they had to play too many games in a short space of time. You wasn't really worried as well. And I think, to be fair, in those first 2 games, it's come to fruition. They were awful against Villa. They got dismantled against Newcastle and had to, and obviously got the Egan sent off as well, one of their best defenders. Dean Henderson obviously can't play. So if we can't go and beat Sheffield United without their best defender and their keeper, who's been ever present this year at home, we won't deserve the top 4.
But this is it. So we just have to see, bro. Like, on paper, that should be a comfortable game.
Yeah, comfortable.
Very comfortable game. If it's not, then eyebrows need to start raising. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a hard one. When you look at these teams, all of these are winnable games. Actually, most of the teams they're playing can get sucked into a relegation fight if they lose a game. So it's not like they're not even playing for nothing. Even Brighton. You know what I mean? If the teams around them pick up points, all of a sudden they're kind of looking over their shoulder. I think Burnley is like the only team that are like safe, and we're not playing them.
Yeah, maybe Palace. I don't think Palace can get sucked into it.
No, I don't.
Ideally,
I think they,
realistically,
with the players that they have, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But these results aren't correlating right now. Do you know what I mean? No one thought Newcastle would have pammed Sheffield United right now.
They were on top, even before the red card. They were doing quite well.
But that's what I'm saying, and they beat them conclusively as well. Like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, it was a close game. Sheffield United got absolutely ripped apart. So without the fans, these games are not going the way people would predict them. If you were betting on these games, guaranteed you're losing a hell of a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I couldn't say in it that, but if I'm being honest, we need to put a consistent run together, and there's no evidence that suggests that we can, bro.
Yeah, that is a worrying thing. I mean, I want to have that confidence that we can do it, because the fixtures are very winnable. You know, it's not like you've got a Man City in there, then a Chelsea, maybe a Liverpool, and then a couple of, mid-table teams. It's consistently teams outside the top 6, maybe in some instances outside the top 8,
top 10,
top 10. So I agree with that. We should be able to put a run together. We have to. It's as simple as that, because I look at Chelsea, for instance, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before. When was it? Yeah, day before. And they were all over Villa. Probably should have been 1 up before. And then when they conceded, though, it's like Lampard made that change and brought Pulisic and Barkley on, and then bang,
changed the game.
They were 2-1 up. And I just feel that with Chelsea, they've got a few difficult games left. I think they've got to play Liverpool as well, haven't they?
Yeah, and someone else as well. And I think they've got Everton and.
So they got a harder running, but they look maybe potentially a bit stronger. The next game is City, actually, at the Bridge.
Yeah.
So I think
if City beat them,
exactly.
If City beat them, then we could, and we win our game.
2 points.
Then you're looking 2 points behind them, and all of a sudden it's squeaky bum time. But we still need to keep winning.
Yeah, there's still 2 points. We have to get into 4th. I think for the whole season we've never actually been in 4th.
Well, there you go.
For a long time, anyway.
We've just been keeping the pace, innit? And you know what I mean? That's not good enough. Because unless we actually overtake them and put the pressure on them, I'll always back them to, even if it's just to get a draw, just to get a point and stay ahead of us, bro. Because that's what they've been doing. So I don't know, man. Like, I think that beating Tottenham would have been the perfect way to kind of apply pressure to these men. I think also in their game, knowing that we hadn't won, there was a bit less pressure on them. You see what I mean? So it's a psychological game at this point. It's psychological warfare, in it. So we'll see who comes out on top. But with the players that we've got and the players that they've got, like, we should be catching them.
Yeah, I hear that. And in terms of different changes that you would make, I want to talk about the back 4. Would you make any changes there against Sheffield United?
Bro, if Bailly's fit, I'm playing him. You know what I mean? I'm playing him with Maguire. But saying that, bruv, I think that Lindelof probably had a better game than Maguire, bruv, in the last game. But you don't drop your captain, innit? Like, I didn't tell Oli to give him the armband. You know what I'm saying? Bruv, at the beginning, I told man that was a weird decision. I said it was a weird decision, but a lot of people were just like, oh no, it makes sense on that. Do you know what I mean? It's that British Bulldog bullshit mentality. The reason why you got the armband, bro. Like, you just come from Leicester City. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just about staking your claim in the England team, and you come in and got the Man United armband, bro. Like, it's not no little gesture, bro. Like, we
were talking about this. We were talking about this on the Sunday show where I was talking about it with Ricky, Saeed, and Adam. And I think the problem is, I think the fact that we're choosing out of a bad pot because we don't really have many leaders.
But he's not really a leader, though, bro.
I think out of who we have, David De Gea doesn't speak enough. Marcus Rashford, we already spoke about him even getting the 10 shirt too early and the pressure that comes with that. Paul Pogba, I just think it'll be another reason for people to bash him as soon as he has a bad game. Just leave him, let him go and do his stuff. And long term, he'll probably kick anyway because he wants to win stuff. I don't really look at the team and think Lindelof, probably not. Who else really is there? We just lack leaders. I just think we're picking out of a dead pot.
Yeah, but this is the problem with people.
Who would you have given it to if it wasn't?
This is the problem with people's mentalities. You don't give someone the captain's armband because they're a leader necessarily. Because if you're naturally a leader, you're going to be a leader anyway, bro. Sometimes you give someone the captain's armband because of either how influential they are in the changing room or also what you can get out of them by giving them the armband. Some people having the armband on their arm raises their game 10, 20%. Sometimes that's why you give someone a captain's armband, not because maybe they're the most of a leader. What do you think? Aubameyang's a leader at Arsenal? He's not, bro.
Again, they're choosing out of a shit pot as well, I think.
Well, there you go, but they've given it to him. Well, there you go, but they've given Aubameyang it because they probably said, you know what, he's our best player. If we can get an extra 10% out of him by giving him the armband and give it to him. Do you know what I'm saying? When you look at that Arsenal team, you're probably looking at the more vocal players like the Kolasinets and them, man, and probably saying, you know what, he probably looks more like a captain in terms of what they actually look like. But bro, sometimes
don't play every game.
Exactly, but sometimes you just give certain man the captain's armband because you know you're going to get more out of them. For me, being the Manchester United captain doesn't make Harry Maguire a better player. Harry Maguire just plays the way he plays anyway.
Yeah, he's going to play. Yeah, I hear that.
So like, there was no need to just give him the armband, bro.
I think he was. I think out of what we had, him potentially Pogba, but like I said, I don't even think. I think Pogba in terms of
you give the armband to De Gea or Pogba.
But you see De Gea though, I just see it like De Gea.
I reckon De Gea plays better if he's the captain.
If
De Gea is the captain, he doesn't make those mistakes. I'm telling you, bro.
You think?
Of course, because he needs pressure. He either needs pressure of a number 2 on him, or he needs the pressure of having the armband, bro.
He's had it a few times, isn't it? He's had it a few times.
And he got taken away because he spoke up. That's what happened. But the bottom line is, De Gea needs some sort of pressure on him, bro. He either needs a pressure of a number 2 that will actually push him and he'll get dropped, or he needs the pressure of you're the captain, all eyes are on you. He's got no pressure on him at the club. That's why he's playing shit like this, bro. No pressure. He goes out there, whatever.
So you would have preferred he had it over Maguire?
Absolutely. He's been at the club for fucking nearly 10 years, bro. We signed him in 2011. He's nearly been at the club for 10 years. He should be the captain, bro.
See, like, which is weird, which I don't know, because I look at him, his characteristics, and
yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's not just about.
I don't feel. I know what you're saying about the service and that, but I just feel like out of the pot, which again, it's not strong enough. I just think,
bro, it has to be him or Paul Pogba for me. Like, it has to be him or Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba.
I think Maguire out of them.
Pogba's the most influential player in the whole dressing room. Period. Like, it's not arguable, bro. Like, it's not even. You can't, bro. Maguire's been there 5 minutes. Man don't respect Harry Maguire the way they respect Paul Pogba. The way they talk about Pogba and the way they look at that is just different, bro. And if he had the armband, man are saying, oh, he's inconsistent, all of that, even though statistically it's proven that he's not. But forget all that bullshit. The bottom line is, you're questioning his commitment. Put an armband on man's arm and tell me that you're not getting an extra 20% out of that guy. To come in there then, do you think maybe the reason why Oli hasn't given it to him, you're talking about the reasons of the positives of what he could have by having it, do you think the reason why Oli didn't give it to him then was because maybe he actually did have the conversation of he might have left this year. It could have been on the cards. Then it got ruined and it didn't. He might well have a conversation to say, let me leave after the end of next season. And maybe Oli's thinking I just want a long-term solution to this so I can stick with it. No,
you think there was a bit of that?
I don't think so. You know what I mean? Because even if that's the case, as a manager, you have to do what's best for your team right now, innit? If I'm the gaffer and I know, that I can get an extra 20% out of Paul Pogba until he leaves, I want the extra 20%. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to give him the armband because he might leave at the end of the season. You don't have to give him, he could be vice captain. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line is, I'm not taking away an armband or something that potentially enhances a player's performance based on, he's not going to be here next year, bruv. I need the points now, bruv. I don't care about next year. Like for me.
But Pogba's going to go play his game regardless, as long as you play him in a team, whether he's captain or not.
But the thing is, he's a leader anyway. But my thing is, with all the pressure, like, he thrives on it, bro. If you give it to him, he's going to do the extra. Do you know what I mean? It will
so
be.
You think you're getting that extra level that people seem to be seeking so much from?
Bro,
Pogba,
all this
you
extra.
think that extra thing could come from the captaincy?
Of course, bro. You see how Pogba looked when he came back and he hadn't played football ages ago against Tottenham and he was jumping into slide tackles and stuff like that. If he's got the armband on, he does that every week. Facts, bro.
You think?
Because he has to. In his head, he's like, bro, I have to.
I don't think so.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he feels like he has to justify it.
I think Pogba's that good that he plays his game and doesn't change it regardless of, like you're saying. So I think that extra 10% that you should give if you're a captain, maybe. But no, everyone should put it. No, everyone should be.
Pogba was playing against Tottenham like he was playing against Tottenham like he had a point to.
But I think that's because he's been injured for so long. Like he said, he just couldn't. He loves football. I don't know if that's
because man are chatting shit all the time. Someone that good shouldn't have to play like he's got a point to prove, but he did. Do you know what I'm saying? He did, bro.
But did he play like he's got a point to prove, or should he not just be doing that? Like he's on the pitch.
No, because that's not his style.
He should be flying into a tackle.
But that's not his game, though. No, but I don't think he should, though. Do you know what I mean? That's not his style.
So he shouldn't try to win the ball back.
No, but he does. But he don't have to fly into slide tackles to do it, bro. Like Rio never used to slide tackle, bro, and he was a defender, bro, because it wasn't his style. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Pogba was jumping into tackles that you wouldn't normally see him doing, and it didn't look natural to him. It don't look comfortable seeing Paul Pogba slide tackle. It looks weird.
I did love it.
Of course, it got us excited.
But you know what it is, though, Rants?
But it looks weird, bro.
It does look weird because he doesn't do it. But then you have to just look at the other side of it. If you possess that ability, and I'm saying if you was to say you want to ooze every one of Pogba's top attributes out of him, passing, top notch, skill, technique, prowess, top notch. Athleticism is another one in terms of being able to, once he starts galloping, you can't catch him. If he puts his body a certain way and turns, you can't get the ball. You only have to listen to other professionals who play against the guy. Sliding in with long legs to get the ball at maximum stride, he can win it back. Maybe it could be an amazing thing if he could just play to all of his top abilities and add that into his game, because we know he can. We know he can. He can hound down a man, bonks him off the ball, slide, get it, go back the other way, knock a 30-yard pass after just winning it back, shoot from 30 yards top bin. He could do it all.
Yeah, he's so good, though. He don't have to do all of those things. And that's my thing. He's the only footballer in the world that gets judged, or like everyone always talks about what he's not doing instead of what he's doing, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody looks at any other midfielder and says, cool, he's getting assists, but he's not winning the ball back, but he's not doing that, bro. Like, but him, he has to do everything, innit? The guy gets judged completely different. So I don't see, there's no negative to giving him the armband. What, you can get more out of your best player.
How would it have looked? How would it look if he had the armband then? If when all that stuff was going on, our captain was coming out the year before saying, "I want a new challenge."
But he wouldn't have. But he wouldn't have.
No, you don't think he would have said that if he was captain?
Hell no, bro.
What about Raiola?
If you're a captain, you know you've got the responsibility. Do you see what I'm saying, bro? And also, someone giving you the armband shows a certain level of respect in it. That's what it is, bro. Like he had it taken away from him. Same with De Gea. How do we know that De Gea's form ain't down to he just feels like Oli disrespected man and he don't check for him? We don't even know. We don't even know, bro. You just took the armband off him, bro. You just ripped it off his arm and there was no talk of it. So how do we know that De Gea's not saying, well, fuck this guy, bro? Like, do you know what I mean? I reckon we get more out of De Gea if he's got the armband on too. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a psychological thing. When you know you're the leader and you're standing at the front in the tunnel, bro, there's a different level of expectation on you as a player, period, bro, no matter what club you're playing for. You know what I mean? Do I think that it's made Maguire a better player? Not really. He's vocal, but he's no more vocal now than he would have been anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's not making him run any faster. Do you know what I mean? So you might as well just take the flipping arm and log.
It definitely hasn't increased his pace. But
that's what I mean, bro. Like it's not. I haven't seen anything from Harry Maguire now that we never saw at Leicester or anywhere else, bro. I feel like there's better places that armband could have gone, for the sake of the team.
Okay, fair enough. Give us your views and opinions on that. Rants believes that it should have been De Gea or Pogba for the captaincy. I think Ollie's picking out of slim pickings and maybe pick the best out of I don't want to say a bad bunch, but a lack of leaders, personally. Let us know what you think. And to finish off with today, Rants, I know Scott McTominay signed a deal, but Ollie was talking about Gomez, about, he's being offered something, we're waiting, etc., etc. Mark thinks that he will. A lot of people think that he will sign. I've seen some people saying that if Ollie's not going to play him, why would he stay? But I think there's a lot of consensus that believe he might. I'm a bit torn on it because I just think, where does he get game time? If he signed a 5-year deal today, I don't see where Ollie's going to go. Right, you can play instead of Bruno today. You can play instead of Pogba today. You can play instead of Rashford today. You can play on the right-hand side for maybe once, which he's not. I just don't see where he's going to get enough game time to develop unless they sign him and send him straight out on loan for a year. Which even after that year, what would happen? I just don't. I feel it for Gomez because I want to see him get a chance, but I just can't see where.
I can't see him getting a chance, bro. I'd even like to see him on that right-hand side instead of Daniel James because he can't do any worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least if I give Gomez the ball, I know he'll keep hold of it. You know what I mean? And pick out a red shirt. I know that. Do you know what I mean? So for me, like I always said, you know what I mean? If I was him, I wouldn't sign a new deal because it doesn't make sense. Like I'm looking at the people in front of me and I'm saying I'm not getting in ahead of Bruno. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if you're going to play me on the wing, I've got Rashford and I've got Martial that can play out there. I've got Daniel
He didn't even get in ahead of Lingard and Pereira when they were both playing awful in the number 10.
But do you see what I'm trying to say?
That said more than anything. And now we've got a specialist plus Paul Pogba, no chance.
And Pereira signed a new deal, didn't he?
Yeah.
So unless they get rid of Jesse Lingard, and don't replace him,
which could happen,
and then you could say, if you're Angel, you know what, you'll get your time.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could see him getting some game time. But for me, he's better than Daniel James. And we actually went out and paid money for Daniel James. So, and we've got.
But the problem is that is he an out-and-out winger though? We want to fix that right.
Yeah, but neither was one matter, bruv. Neither was one matter. Neither was Pereira. Neither was Lingard, and they all got time on the right-hand side, bruv. And
so why is he not? Yeah, I don't get it.
I just reckon he don't fancy Angel, bruv. That's just all it is. I can't see it as anything else other than he don't like Angel because he's too small. Because it's not to do technical ability. Because technically, he's one of the best players in the squad. Now, anyone that's seen Angel Gomez play knows that there's nothing that guy can't do with his feet. Do you know what I mean? So it's not about his feet. It's about other things, isn't it? So I don't really know. Yeah. Like if I was him, I wouldn't sign a new deal. But if he does, I hope he gets game time. Because if he signs a new deal and then we keep him, don't send him out on loan, and then he wastes another year, he's another year further behind all of his peers that he lifted that World Cup with that are all playing first team football right now. You look at Calvert-Lewin, you look at Jadon Sancho, you look at all these men, they're playing football, bro. You know what I mean?
He needs to be playing. And it's almost the same with Chong as well. I mean, some people were a little bit surprised that Chong signed. I thought he could have been out. But again, it comes into where are these guys going to get the game time from? I get it. You want to keep your youngsters for as long as possible to see how they blossom. But I just don't think you get to see the fruits of any labour if you don't put any labour in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Gomez sitting on a squad or not even getting into a match day squad when there's 9 subs. I don't see how that helps. I get it for the rest of this season. It's a big ask to bring him in, and we've got players back. I get that, and he shouldn't be just coming in instead of Greenwood or coming.
And it's
in
not even like we've got a reserve league anymore. It's
exactly. So he's just not playing. He has to get out there and play.
He's so much better than the under 23s. Yeah, that it's a joke. Even Chong looks decent in that league. You know what I'm saying? And then when he comes to men's football, he don't even look good against Astana. So you can see the difference in quality between the under 23s league, and the first team league. He has to go out on loan if he's not playing. Yeah. So I don't know. And he has to go out on loan, to a Premier League team, bro.
He needs to play top level.
Yeah, football. Like I'm sick of seeing these men.
Play for Southampton. Imagine him at Southampton,
bro.
If Brighton stay up, go to a Brighton or
let them go to
Crystal
a
Palace
team,
or you know what I mean,
Prem team or a top championship team, bro. We saw it with Derby.
For promotion,
like Lampard took Mason Mount. Do you know what I mean? Lampard took Mount there, then he brought him back to the Prem with him, and he's still playing. He either needs to play to a top championship team or a Premier League team, bro.
Well, Turin Davies another one actually. You know what I mean?
We loaned fucking Pereira out in Spain, cool. He looked half decent in Spain, come back and he looked crap again. It's not the same football.
Yeah, I think I need to be given a chance for sure. Last thing today, Rants, before we finish off today's show. 2 games coming up. Give me a prediction for the first one. What do you think the score is going to be against Sheffield United?
2-0. We should beat them. We shouldn't concede either, man. Yeah.
I agree. I think if
2-0.
that happens, we're looking at trouble there.
Yeah.
And then we've got FA Cup. We forget about that. Norwich away. Hold tight, Jamal Todd obviously didn't have a great game, and they lost comfortably against Southampton. Struggling to stay in the league. Probably an unwanted distraction for them, maybe, or maybe they might think actually we might not be at it in the Premier League. We can go to Wembley, you know.
Yeah, I think it depends on both teams. If they make loads of changes because they're focusing on staying up, we should beat them. But if we make loads of changes and they don't, then boy, there could be an upset. You just never know.
Well, I was going to say, how do you think we should approach that? It'd be nice for Ollie to get a cup in his first full season. Obviously, it's a different thing. Going to Wembley with no fans is not great, but it is going to be what it is. How much changes do you expect him to make? Because the games are coming thick and fast.
Bruv, these men I had 3 months off, innit? Like, I'm trying to, just play the games, innit? I'm trying to pick the strongest teams I can for pretty much every game. You know what I mean? We saw yesterday Man City made loads of changes and that because they've got the squad to do that. You know what I mean? Their bench was an absolute piss take. You know what I mean? But, like, we just have to pick our best team every game, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? With a few tweaks here and there. But the nucleus of the team needs to be the same every week. We need to try and win every game, bruv. We need to try and win the FA Cup because, honestly, the way Chelsea are playing and the way Leicester don't look like they're going to slip up too much, I feel like we might not catch them in it. And if we don't get top 4, we need a trophy in it.
Yeah, for the morale. It's interesting. You see what I was saying about the Leicester thing? That's what I was saying. Mark and was saying we might be able to catch him. I know you were saying now we could, but
I thought that, but then I watched them play, and it's like, bruv, Brendan just knows what he's doing, innit? And
it's a lot of points for them
unless they get an injury, I just feel like we're not consistent enough. I think we have the players, but I just don't think we're consistent enough to win 7 on the bounce, like man is saying. I don't think we have it in us. If we win 3 on the bounce, I'll be happy because we ain't done that in a while either.
Yeah, well, and also for Leicester to be as inconsistent to drop 2 games and lose 2 on a bounce or something like that. Including we have to play them, which is a difficult game. I just was never really looking at Leicester feasibly. I know Mark's really optimistic about that. I can't see that happening. It still can. They got some.
Bro, now football's come back here, and we've seen that we haven't really improved over the break here. Like that optimism's out the window now. I'm being realistic again. You know what I'm like, bro? I'm being realistic, bro. Like the performance against Tottenham was bad, innit? Like Tottenham weren't good, bro. Like they weren't good. Like they got one book goal, from bad goalkeeping, but Tottenham were poor. If we're really honest, if we analyze the game, they were poor, bro. And the fact that they were even in the game at any point tells us that we weren't good in it. So we just have to say, like, we're not.
At least we created chances though, and we should have scored more. We on a different day, to be fair, we would have scored. We would have.
When we say we should have, like the save from Martial was out of this world, innit?
Yeah,
like,
that was proper.
You put that down to the goalkeeper. The one that Dyer blocked again, great defending. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the one that Mason missed at the end, like it's only a chance because it's Mason, bro. You know
he's capable of scoring from there.
If that was Daniel James, down that right hand side, it's not a chance. Do you know what I mean? So again, you see what I mean? So we're
that's true.
Here.
Mason's got a different different kettle of
like we never split their defense once. Saw the white of the keeper's eyes and missed. It was none of that. All of it was just down to one brilliant save. Other than that, it was half chances that, like, on another day. Do you know what I'm saying? On another day, blood. How many saves did Lloris actually make, bro? Do you know what I mean? The Mason one, 3. There you go, because the Mason one didn't hit the target. Like he made the save from Martial. Apart from
Rashford right and left foot.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, bruv. Like we didn't really have the keeper having to earn his corner. He made one save that he shouldn't have made, maybe, arguably. Again, like over the course of the game, it's not like we couldn't really say we were blamming down the door. It wasn't that. Do you know what I mean? So we need to be better. If we put in the same performance against Sheffield United, then Sheffield United could get something, innit?
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully we up the levels. Flown by as per usual. Pick up all the socials.
Yeah, at Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram, guys. Also on YouTube. Make sure you sub.
100%. I'm at FlexUTD across all of the socials, and make sure you sub to my YouTube channel, The Flex, as well. Hopefully, we'll get a good result tomorrow, guys, and we will see you at the next Flex and Rant show after having played Norwich and Sheffield United. Hopefully, we get the 3 points and go through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. We are out of here. Peace.